Welcome to this instructional video on setting up your digital workspace. We will be briefly discussing several topics that will help you get a solid start to the typing of your thesis. Note that this video uses a Windows environment to demonstrate the principles, but I do hope that even Mac users will find the basic principles instructive. This video, part 2, will look at some basic software principles which you should get in place so that you can be at your most productive and avoid pitfalls further down the road. Part 1 looked at configuring your actual physical environment. Now that we have discussed the environment, we can get to the actual topic at hand. Your thesis needs a certain structure, and you can ensure a good, consistent structure by starting out with a template that defines such a structure. This will save you a lot of unnecessary formatting work and will give you a more professional look. I spend a lot of time discussing the ins and outs of templates in my book, so here I will just demonstrate the process with no detail. I also provide you with a choice of 2 different ready-made thesis templates on my website, which is insight.trueinsight.za.com/word/dissertation/examples. There are other templates out there, but obviously I think mine are better. So, if you go to my website, you will see there are 2 examples that you can use. You can choose either or both of them and download them to your thesis folder. Try and store them in the same folder where your actual thesis will be. To use the template, simply right-click on the template file and choose New. Word doesn't open the template, it opens a new blank document which is based on the template. This document will also contain all the information that was stored within the template. Once the file has been created, all you need to do is save it as a standard Word document. I recommend saving it in the same folder in which you saved your thesis template. So I'll just give it a name here and then save it. You will then be able to write your thesis using the templates that are now available in this document. All you need to do now is complete the necessary information and then write your thesis. There's the rub. You will see as I scroll through the document that the template actually contains all the various headings of the major parts of the thesis that you would need, but the important thing to note is that it actually also contains the styles that you will need to format your thesis. Again, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here as I discuss styles in depth in my book, but I do want to point out several things that will be useful to you even if you don't have access to the book. First, avoid using the normal style except in tables. With the sole exception of text in tables, there should not be a single paragraph in your thesis that is formatted with a normal style. Most of the normal text in your body should be formatted using the body text style. Next, avoid having empty paragraphs in your thesis. Do not use empty paragraphs to create vertical space between elements, for example in between paragraphs of text or between headings and text. Rather, adjust the paragraph spacing for the style to get the effect you want. The templates I provide already have spacing set like this. Then, the good news about using styles is that you really only need to use a handful of styles for creating a well-formatted document. I just want to give a quick demonstration of what it would look like when you use styles while typing your thesis, together with the keyboard shortcuts I've just listed. To save time, I'm only going to type the headings and then format them by applying the styles. I've copied the text from my PhD thesis to the Office clipboard just to save time, so after each heading I will just paste them in. Note as I go along how quickly and easily I format my headings, because I am actually not formatting them, I'm only applying the styles to them. Also note that the process means that I can type without distraction, as I don't lose my train of thought as I type, but can rather keep focusing on what I want to write. Note also that as the headings are applied, the numbering scheme has already been linked to the headings, and so all my numbering automatically is done as well, even at the various different levels that my headings are. Here you can see why I don't want blank paragraphs in my document. The heading is already set to keep to the next paragraph, and because there's no intervening paragraph, this heading moves to the next page and stays with the text which it governs. Which brings us to the last point. Just remember that you must use the built-in heading styles to format your headings. It's really useful to know the keyboard shortcuts for the headings, which are simply Ctrl, Alt and the number for the right heading level. Only the keyboard shortcuts for the first 3 heading levels are defined in Word, but you can manually set the remaining levels yourself. You would seldom need more than levels 4 or 5, or my Word utilities can do them for you. And that brings me to my next recommendation. Get my Word utilities from my website. I will not go through everything, but let me just show you some of the things that they will help you with. This demonstrates the backup tool. Generally, I recommend saving your thesis using a simply recognizable name like thesis or thesis Jacques Robenheimer. When you make backups, change their names. Don't change the name of your working file. That way, you will always be able to recognize which is your working file. You don't want to know how many times I've sat with a student who wants to show me something from one of the files stored on their drive, and we end up spending 5 to 10 minutes opening files like thesis, thesis final, thesis final final, thesis final final final, and so on. I recommend making the backup using the date and or time that it was made in the format year, month, day. This will allow you to visually identify a chronological order to your backups, which is also very useful. All of this is implemented in my backup tool. So if I have the thesis open and click on backup, then it creates a backup by making a copy of the file with the date appended. If you look at this list of files, you will see how the appended dates help me identify immediately which are the backups and which is the working file, and also in what order the backups were made. Another useful tool is the Fix Hyperlink tool. This helps you when those long hyperlinks cause havoc in your line spacing. If you look at this video, you will see a hyperlink in the text of a book chapter I recently wrote. The long hyperlink causes the line to wrap to the next line and so leaves a huge space in the preceding line. The tool uses the Chicago Manual of Style 16th edition rules for breaking up hyperlinks like this and will save you lots of time if you have many of these links. Remember that I recommended that you keep your whole thesis in one document. So what do you do if your supervisor wants to see only one chapter and doesn't want you to send them the whole document? Even though you can do this manually, my utilities automate the process. I will use the document navigation pane to select one heading, which I can do because I'm using the built-in heading styles, and then I'll use the copy to new tool from my utilities to copy that out to a new document, using the same template, which I can then send to my supervisor. As I scroll through this document, you'll see that the chapter's entire content has been copied across. If my supervisor is very pedantic, I can even go to the start and I can reset the starting chapter number to reflect the numbering of its position in the thesis. That is an exact copy of what's in the thesis, but it's separated from it and it's just one chapter. I can't emphasize this enough. Do not do your referencing by hand. Why would you want to put yourself through that kind of suffering? There are many options available, and Word even has a rudimentary citation manager built in, but I will just show you the program I use, Mendeley. So go to the Mendeley website, worldwideweb.mendeley.com, and register as a user and download the program. It's free. I have written a whole book on using Mendeley, so I will not go into detail here. But I must add that my book on Mendeley is a bit dated, so I don't recommend that you rush out to buy it. All I want to do is show you some of the things Mendeley can do for you. There are actually multiple ways that Mendeley can help you get your research articles into your library, each suited to a variety of different contexts, but I will demonstrate only one here. Here you can see how I get a research article from a website into my Mendeley library. Mendeley has a browser tool that allows you to import the document directly from your browser, but today I'm going to demonstrate a different method just so that you can see more clearly what Mendeley is doing. First, I download the file, and then all that I do is drag and drop it into Mendeley, and Mendeley will read through the file, identify the needed information, and complete the document details for me. Please note that you must check that this information is correct. Mendeley cannot always identify the information it needs. Once the article is in Mendeley, you can also use the tool to make annotations as you do your research reading. A paperless thesis is now truly possible. I can highlight various phrases, and if you look here, you'll see that I can even choose and highlight items in different colors. So I can make this purple if I want to. You can work out a color scheme that works for you to indicate different things. As you read, you can also see things and add notes and annotations, which will help you think through your research work and summarize it later. As you have now built up a whole library of all your references in Mendeley, you can then use the Mendeley citation tool in Microsoft Word as you type your thesis. Then have Mendeley create a reference list for you in one of several thousand different reference styles. So here I click on the Insert Citation tool for Mendeley. I type in the author name. Mendeley will find matches to that name for me, and I can select the correct one. Once I've chosen it, I can also suppress the author name if I only want to display the date, and then Mendeley adds a citation to my thesis for me. I can continue typing my thesis, and as I type, I will add all my citations in this way. Having done that, Mendeley can then create a reference list for me. So I will click on the Insert Bibliography tool, and Mendeley will scan the thesis, find all the citations, and output a reference list into my thesis. There it is. If I scroll down and look through the list of citations, you will see over here is the citation I've just added, and it's now displayed in the reference list. So Mendeley will save you whole days of work by handling your citations and reference list. And that high note, courtesy of Mendeley, brings us to the end. Thank you for watching this video. If you want more information, please visit my author page on Amazon or visit my blog, where I post more information and resources. Good luck with your thesis.